What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's jump right into the topic of this video. Today I just wanted to recap day 2 of free agency for the Las Vegas Raiders, and day 2 of free agency was a very quiet day for the Raiders. Really nothing major happened. We didn't sign anybody, but some things did happen throughout the free agency market. And the first news is that cornerback Amik Robertson was signed by the Detroit Lions. Looks like he signed a 2-year, $9 million contract. He got a little bit more than that, and with incentives he can make up to $10.75 million throughout 2 years. So the only player that seemed to have panned out for us in a sense from that 2020 NFL draft is officially gone just 4 years later. And not gonna lie, I was kind of surprised by this. I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, ideally I wanted to see Amik Robertson back in the silver and black. Just in general, I loved the attitude, that dog mentality he had in him, and I just thought he was a good fit with this defense and with the group of players we have, especially in the secondary group. I'm surprised they weren't able to match that offer. But at the same time, I'm not going to act like this is a huge blow. At the end of the day, Amik Robertson was just depth at the cornerback spot. But what you did like about him is he was able to play in the slot. He could also play in the outside when he needed to. But the simple reality is that he is a physically limited cornerback. He did get beat a lot, but as I said, I did like his overall mentality. And even though he did give up some plays, I will say he also was pretty good at making plays. So I am surprised he wasn't able to re-sign here. I mean, I feel like if you just would have offered him a 2-year, $9 million contract, he probably would have accepted that. Or maybe even a little bit less than that, especially if you factor in the Las Vegas situation where you don't have to pay state income tax. So technically he would probably make more with that type of contract than he would in Detroit. But that's officially water under the bridge. Amik Robertson is no longer here with the Raiders, so it's going to be interesting to see what we do at the cornerback spot. Do we go out and get Kyle Fuller now, who is a cornerback that can also play in the slot on the outside, can even play some snaps at the safety position if really needed to? So something to keep an eye on these next couple of days. Pretty soon here we're going to get the second wave of free agency, and hopefully that's where the Raiders can start to get great value at certain positions and just overall build some depth. I think we're already in a good spot in free agency, especially since we got a premier player at the D-tackle spot in Christian Wilkins. We also signed Gardner Minshew, which I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest with you, but I understand he's a backup at the end of the day. And with Aiden O'Connell being the only quarterback on the roster, we are going to need at least 2 more quarterbacks, especially with Jimmy Garoppolo on his way out and Brian Hoyer being released. Gardner Minshew isn't really the answer for us, but he may offer some competition for Aiden O'Connell. And ultimately, I think the move is still to draft a quarterback. And with the situation we have now with Aiden O'Connell and with the Gardner Minshew, you won't necessarily be forced to start the rookie if he's not ready. But another thing that I thought was interesting is that the running back market, at least the top players, the top veterans, are officially off the board. And it looks like the Raiders did not make any moves in that respect. It was going to be interesting to see what ultimately ended up happening with Josh Jacobs. And now that we know he's gone, with the Raiders not paying Josh Jacobs, it's going to be interesting to see what we did with that money when it comes to the running back group, because there was still guys like Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, who could have been options for us, but the Raiders opted to stay away from the running back group in this free agency period. And I think it's a smart idea. I think Tom Telesco did well in this situation. I honestly think when it comes to the running back spot, you really should prioritize building a good offensive line compared to paying a star running back. We still have Zamir White on the roster, who looked very impressive in the last 4 games of the regular season when Josh Jacobs was out. And although I'm not completely sold on Zamir White being the primary back, especially with just such a limited sample size, I still think that if you could just build up this offensive line and create a unit that can consistently open up the holes, the running back spot essentially just becomes plug and play. And I do like the upside of Zamir White. He's young, he's hungry, and I don't think it would be a bad idea for us to target a running back in the draft. I mean, one of my favorite running backs is Michigan's Blake Corum, who currently is projected to be a 3rd round pick, but he may move up into the 2nd round. But if we don't want to spend that much, I mean, there's other running backs like Bucky Irvin out of Oregon. You know, there's definitely going to be options at the running back spot. And then, like I said, if we can build a good O-line, then running back becomes a lot more easier to replace. And I do like the upside of Zamir White. And just in general, I think it's a good move not to overspend at the running back position. And one thing we got to take into consideration is offensive coordinator Luke Getsy was able to build a dominant run game for Chicago. So I do feel good about his ability to kind of come in here and try to replicate that success he had on the ground with Chicago over here. So I did like to see that the Raiders stayed disciplined and didn't overpay any veteran running back, but we still got to address the offensive line in free agency, and we are going to need to get some good O-linemen in the draft. But the good news is that this draft, there's a lot of good offensive linemen. If we can't get a quarterback in the 1st round too, I'm hoping and just praying we can get right tackle Talise Fuaga out of Oregon State. He's easily the best run blocking tackle out there. He would be a plug and play type of situation at the right tackle spot. And he's also pretty solid in pass protection, so he's not a liability when it comes to that standpoint. But I think addressing the offensive line will be the 2nd biggest priority in this free agency period. But as I said, a slow day in day 2 of free agency. Let's just see what happens these next couple days. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you guys upset with Amik Robertson leaving? Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that's all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.